a local hip hop artist from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, who is getting all the big clicks right now on Spotify, Apple, and on SoundCloud. I'm your host, Wallace Totier, where at the Emporium Live, we bridge the gap between venues, bands, and fans. And one of the ways we do this is by collaborating with artists and industry professionals to provide you with the resources and knowledge to help you better navigate the music industry. You can join our live streams every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and our podcast is available on all platforms. You can join our forum from our website at theemporiumlive.com/forum. Remember, the floor is open for questions throughout the whole interview, so be sure that if you have something you want to say to anyone on the show right now, just type away. And again, today's guest is Blake. And how you doing, bud?
Good, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Good deal. We are happy to have you, man. So just to get things started, basic normal question. How did you get started in music?
Wow. And a good question to start too. So yeah, basically, I mean, there's like a long story and a short story. The long one is that started playing guitar when I was younger and kind of with the goal of wanting to get good enough to make my own music. I didn't really want to just be like covering songs. Mm-hmm. And then I hit puberty and I realized like I can't really sing. So I was like, you know what? I can hit like 5 notes and I'll just do like some kind of like rap thing because I had like synced up my iPod back in those days with a buddy from high school who had like all of these classic art, like Lupe Fiasco. It was the first time I'd ever heard like Kanye, even really like Jay-Z. And I'm saying classic even though they're like still relevant, but you know what I mean? So yeah. I find myself with all this like inspiration. I'm like, okay, like this is really cool. This is kind of what I want to do. And started doing like joke raps and like freestyles with my friends. And then eventually I was like, I really want to take this serious and started putting things out on Facebook, and that turned into a mixtape, which turned into another mixtape, which turned into, SoundCloud and Spotify. And here we are today.
Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah. That pretty much answered my second portion of that question, which was what got you into hip hop. But let's go more into what artist and what the scene was for you that kind of pushed that for you.
Yeah. So when I started out, I don't know if you're familiar with Chris Webby at all.
Okay.
He was like, I don't even know what he's still doing currently, but back then he was like posting freestyles, and I just thought he was like one of the most clever people like that I'd heard at the time. Keep in mind, like I'm listening to Chris Webby and I'm going to Lupe, and then like I might start getting into like people like Mac Miller, but he was a huge influence because that got me to think of like, okay, like let's freestyle. And like now we're kind of developing like a flow. And then eventually as I started listening to like, I don't want to say more legitimate, no discredit to him at all, but like bigger names in the industry. Like I started, like I said, getting more into Mac Miller. Obviously, like you have to fuck with Drake every now and then. And like J. Cole, I'm realizing like, okay, here's how you can like really put a song together, still have it be catchy, still have it be relatable, but still have it be something that's honest. And so yeah, those like Drake, J. Cole, Mac Miller, and Lupe, I'd say they were like the big ones for me.
Good deal. That's awesome. Yeah. So you've been doing this for like 5 years at least. Like what helps you niche your style? Like I've been listening to your tracks for a few days now, maybe like 4 days, and you've got stuff from about 5 years ago up to recent times. And I swear the production value on every single track is on point, man. It's like, cool. How did you coin your style? Like what got your grip on there?
That's a good question. I would say it's a lot of the stuff I try and like I started off doing production and stuff. Like it was just easier for, like I said, I learned how to play guitar, and then I got into making beats and getting more into the software side of it. So for me, it was always like, I just want to make and record to things that I want to make. Like doing it all myself gave me a lot of the control of like, I don't have to scroll through YouTube to find a beat I like. If I have this sound or have this melody and I can like sample and take different parts, I can make the thing that I want to put out. And at the end of the day, if you're making stuff that you want to make, it's impossible to not sound authentic and sound like you, because I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be like this person. I'm just making music that I like to make. So it's just kind of, I guess just staying consistent to like, to my style and not trying to like make something just to make something kind of. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect. That's great. I love that answer. That's great. So, all right. So staying on the same note, aside from music writers and poets and all that, are there any like just like book authors, like writers, or like written poets that kind of like helped you figure out how you want to be writing your flows and stuff?
Well, I mean, again, this will sound cliche, but like I took a British authors class in high school, and that was where we got into like a lot of these poets and stuff. But obviously, like Shakespeare is a big part of anyone's like English high school experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And but my teacher, props to her, just did such a good job at like we're going through like sonnets and breaking down each line and like looking at the alliteration and looking at the hidden meaning behind some of these words, and like it just really made me appreciate word choice and just kind of the concept of like, wow, you can say a lot by saying a little if you pick the right words.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, Shakespeare I thought was just like, obviously he's one of the best to do it. I mean, there are other poets, but that one, he's definitely the one that like stands out.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So all right, I got a deeper question for you on
Okay.
the artist side,
Yeah.
management side, and all that. Is there a team? Do you have a group, production company, or do you have a manager, or just anyone helping you on your social medias, or is it just you? You going out there solo?
It's more or less just me. I mean, there's definitely like an informal team. Like I have so like I have a twin brother. His name's Tyler. He's like hopped on as kind of like my manager, and he's been like the
Nice.
biggest fan and supporter since day one. So it just was kind of like, I know people say like you don't have family and business and things like that, but for me it's like, why wouldn't I want to have my biggest supporter on my side, like really
Right, right.
help me do some of this legwork, you know? So it's great, and he busts his ass at it, so it makes me work like even harder. And
Nice.
yeah, so that's a great partnership there. And then I have a friend in LA. He's a producer. His name's Rock Burwell, who I've just recently started having like mix some of my stuff, and he's like a production guru, and even when it comes to like mixing and things like that. So I look to him for a lot of like advice or tips or just little industry secrets, because I'd say he's like a little farther along. So there's definitely an informal team, and I have like a guy in Salt Lake City who does some video stuff for me here and there. And so it's growing. And I think that's the coolest part of it, is like with every year, with every release, it becomes more of a production. And I
Yeah.
think it's great. But as far as socials and stuff go, I run that. That's what I do for like my career, like during the day, is kind of like social media management. So it just kind of is like fits. So
Good deal. Good
yeah,
deal. That's freaking awesome, man.
yeah.
All right. So this question is one of my favorite ones, and it's about the equipment. What are you using in the studio compared to what you're using on stage, and what do
Hmm.
you like and what don't you like?
So so most of my stuff is only studio based.
Okay.
I've done one show which we can get into that later, which was quite the experience. But I definitely want it to be like, having done a show and like looking up to some of the artists I look up to, I'm like, I want this show to be more than just me with a microphone. So I'm like really trying to figure out, how do I bring a guitar into the play? How do I one of the things I use is this MPD 26, which I've had for a long time.
Oh gosh, yeah. Old school.
How can I get, this was actually the first piece I got.
Nice.
Actually, scratch that. I bought some, I think it was like an Axiom keyboard, and thinking like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna plug this in and like figure it out, and it'll be easy. And I was in like high school, and I plugged in, and I was like, what the I can't even get sounds to come out of this. So I
Yep.
brought that back, and I got this thing, which is like way more plug and play, which worked better with GarageBand. So like I'll use that, but I want to incorporate that on the show and use that to trigger like live samples. Speakers, I have the KRK Rocket 5s. Again, probably due for an upgrade. I've had these things forever, but for my small bedroom studio in my apartment complex, it keeps the neighbors from, keeps them at bay, and I can still hear everything I need to hear. I'm running Logic Pro X, but I think I'm about to get into Ableton, because I've been I've been on Logic for a while, and some of my favorite producers I've seen are on Ableton, and I'm watching enough live streams there, because I guess that's the new wave. And I'm like, I feel like I have a basic enough understanding coming from Logic to make that transition. So
I feel like with a lot of people, that's kind of the natural progression also.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. And plus, like, I've heard that Logic's good to, like, Logic's easier to record vocals in. So I'm like, okay, well, great, I have that bass, and now I can go into Ableton for the production side of it, because most of the stuff I'm doing is more electronic and kind of fits more in that realm.
Yeah.
My microphone, again, due for an upgrade. I'm trying to like I'm a firm believer in if you have the right software, you can make like really high quality shit. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a mic or thousands of dollars on speakers. A lot of things can get the job done for like under $100. So
Hmm.
my mic is, I think, an MXL V64. I don't even
Oh,
know.
that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if they make it anymore. It's just like a run of the mill like condenser mic, but it's
Hmm.
been working great for me. I mean, I have a shock mount that like the actual like bands that actually make up the shock mount broke, and I was like, I got to go buy new ones. And my dad was like, no, 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 we can just take some rubber bands. So we had rubber bands on there, and then those snapped. So now there's like, it's held together by like glue and paper clips. I mean, it really,
That's fucking gnarly.
but like, if I don't bump it and like or jump around, it's okay. And then for the interface, I'm using I don't know if you can see it from here, just the Focusrite, pretty standard stuff. I don't
Hmm.
need a lot of inputs. But yeah, that's the tech. And again, like I've only done one live show, and I didn't really have any equipment. I just kind of like showed up, and they were like, "Here's a mic, and your songs are queued up." And I had my buddy Rock Burwell, who I mentioned earlier, just kind of DJ the set. So yeah, that's that.
Good deal. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So you said you're pretty much your own social media manager,
Yeah.
and then you've got your twin brother manage you on the outside for like the actual deals. So with that said, like, what's it like networking? What's some of the tips and hints you can give people to help you or help them figure out how to network between stuff? Because you're
Yeah.
obviously doing a great job,
Oh,
honestly.
thank you. Yeah, I think the big thing is just to be genuine. Like just to don't I used to come into these like interactions with a bigger artist or even a smaller artist, and I always thought of the interactions as transactional. Like I don't have anything to offer you. Why are you going to work with me? And vice
Right.
versa. And it's still something I'm trying to work on today because I feel like it's a natural reaction to have if you're talking up to someone. You know what I mean? Someone you idolize. But if you come in as like a genuine fan, and like you make music too and you take yourself seriously, like you can put these people on a pedestal like off camera or like to yourself, but they're a regular person too, and they've
Yeah.
gone through the same shit you've gone through and are going through it currently. So it's just like for me it's always just been like I'm just going to be genuine and real with you. Like I'm a huge fan of your stuff. I'd love to work with you in any way. Like let me know, just to not be pushy. I'm a big believer in if it's meant to be, it will be. Like it's just kind of
That
the
good cosmic timing.
yeah, it's just the reality of it. Like it's got to be in the right place at the right time. And like this business, as I'm sure you know, is just like patience is a virtue. Like it just takes time. And it's just being consistent and being genuine, I'd say, are like the two keys.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I heard that you did bring a couple of tracks for us to listen to.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, cool. I think you got two. I think before we get into those two tracks, I will say that my favorites of yours right now, and all these tracks are monster tracks, and they're getting clicks left and right, which is insane. When I first started listening to your SoundCloud, I was like, yeah, this is good, this is good, this is good. And then I would go back through the next day, and instead of just listening, kind of like pay attention to what people are saying on your tracks. It doesn't matter what track you listen to. People are saying stuff about you and praising you. And then you look at how many clicks they've gotten, and it's just like, what am I doing? Like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
But some of the tracks that I really enjoyed were Fakes, which I think is one of your newest tracks.
Yeah, that is the newest.
Relevant, such a fun track.
Yep.
Lately, which is a lot older. Time Zone, which I've probably listened to that track at least 8 times. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
then the last track I really liked and like kind of personally connected with was Critics. I really loved your poetry in that one. I really loved what you were saying. And probably the first time I listened to it, I was like, what's he really trying to say? And I listened to it again. I was like, oh no, I totally bond with this dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So which tracks did you bring for us today?
So yeah, Fakes is like the most recent one, and just kind of about like that general concept of like, I feel like on social media you see it all the time, is like, and especially in times like this, a lot of people are going to try and be over the top optimistic or fake, whether it's like people commenting on Facebook or someone like some girl like posting a picture of herself and everyone's commenting like beautiful skin, like skinny mini, all these like you name it, everyone's commenting or everyone's trying to do this networking, but like you hang out with these people in real life and like
They're just shady.
they're not that nice, they're not that genuine, that down to support people. So it's just kind of that two-sided business that it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But that was Fakes. And then Lately was written when I was a junior in college.
Oh,
and it was
okay.
kind of this supposed to be like the dichotomy of like self-doubt of like, it was at a point in my like school career, academic career, where everyone's starting to like think about internships and think about the next step. What am I doing post grad? Like, what job am I going to get? And for me, I was making music, and I was kind of like, well, fuck, like I don't really want like that doesn't sound great to me. And so I was kind of going through like, what is this going to be? Like, how am I going to like pay for myself? Will I be making music? Will I not be making music? And then it kind of splits, or it transitions to like this faster part where it's like, wait a minute, like I'm the man, like I do whatever the hell I wanted to. And it's just kind of this like this inner confidence. But I think that song, the reason that it is so popular and resonates is one, the production by Swell is his name, is top notch. But I think a lot of people go through those feelings, and like you could, whether you're in college or even in real life now, I think like everyone has self-doubt, and everyone has that like, well, what should I be doing? And it's like, you can just focus on the positive, and like, because you are this person. So yeah, those are the explanations.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a listen to the first track that you sent us, which is Fakes, which is also, again, the newest track you've got out, which already has exponential views. Like, it's ridiculous. And let's try to see if we can get some more, because this music it's fun. It's really fun, mellow hip hop. And I feel like every track you've got, you're literally saying something. You've got some good punctuation to you,
That's the goal. Thank you.
All right. We'll get see if Tuck can get that started for us, and we'll all hang back and listen to that track.
Great.
You say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that.
Cause lately I've been losing all my patience. Lately every single girl I'm fucking with is fucking basic. Rather get wasted. That's why when you see me in the studio, I'm usually keeping bottles adjacent. Yeah, and loud packs on the table just to chase it. I'm dream chasing lifestyles of being rich and fucking famous. I got a couple friends that probably won't fucking play this. And lately got a couple friends stuck in between quotations. Yeah, I'm Charlie Dickens with these expectations, despite stressing over how I'm making my electric payments. I'm worried that my latest song will be my fucking greatest, and all my new fans will listen and then just fucking hate this. And lately I've been staring at the ceiling, looking up, wondering if I'll have a good job or be in basements. My biggest fear is not that I won't make it. Lately my biggest fear is that one day I'll be complacent. Lately been the best in the booth. When I get up on a mic, hypnotized with the truth. Everything I make is dope, it don't matter what I do. You can hear the chitter chatter and they saying I'm the dude. Only about to laughter when I'm thinking about you. Brag about the paper like it's not even cool, yo. Never mind but I'm thinking obtuse. Number one while you catching a deuce. And lately been the best with a flow. I ain't never doing it for show. I've been only doing it for me, myself and I. Maybe just a little for the hoes. Lately I've been sitting here working on a craft. Sitting in my room and I'm writing on a rap. Working on the beats and you know I got a stash. And I'm riding up the wave, I don't want it to crash. I don't want it to crash. Yeah.
making music, when I'm making music. You know, like I know that for Instagram, I try and keep that like music oriented, where like fans are following me. Like I'm trying to put out like behind the scenes like production videos and stuff. But honestly, nothing's really changed. If anything, I found that in this quarantine, I have more time to write or to like really think things through, because there's no I know summer's gonna start soon, but it doesn't feel like time just feels the same. Like it's a day that ends in Y. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna make music today, and if I don't make music today, I'll make music tomorrow. So I kind of feel, if anything, more free. So yeah, I've been working harder. So
Nice.
yeah.
Very cool. That's a humongous plus.
Yeah.
So with that said, is there plans in the future for a, obviously hopefully more tracks, but are you looking at getting an EP or an album?
Yeah. An EP has been on my list for a long time, but the problem is with the way I've been working is that I obviously overthink things, of course, but like but so like most of the time my process is like I'll make a beat and then I'll want to use my own production, but I then decide like I need a break from listening to this beat that I just made on loop for like 4 hours. I got to go give my ears something else because I'm going to go fucking crazy. And I'll look up someone else's production because there's some like crazy talented producers that like know more and are better than me. And I'll write to their stuff. And then I'll hit a point where I'm like, cool, I have this like song or this verse, this idea. And I'll go and look, and it'll either be I'm rapping on something that's not for sale, or it's just like not a beat, or like then I'll recycle that verse onto another beat. And now I have 2 ideas, and now I have to pick between, well, which verse do I like better on which instrumental? And it just creates this like awful process. So I'm trying to get better at just kind of committing and following through, and like not trying to treat songs like puzzle pieces and be like, well, this verse sounded good on this, but it could sound better on this, because what if it keeps me up at night. So I just need to again, I'll bring it back to my buddy Rock Burwell. I was going through once on like there's a song on SoundCloud called Transparent, and I was going back and forth. I was sending him final mixes before I had him mix. I trusted his ear, and I was kind of I've got like a couple steps that I do to get it to where I want it to be, but you know, leave it to the pros. Another tip for anyone out there. And I would send him like 9 versions, and it got to the point where I was like, I can't tell the difference between version 4 and version 7. And now I'm going crazy. And he's just like, you just got to like kill your darlings, which is like, I think a classic term. But so that's more of what I'm trying to do, is like, just put it out there. Like, you can't obsess over every single detail. You should have a strong attention to detail, but it's going to cripple you if you are just playing this what if game, or could it be a little better if I just change this? Because the average fan won't notice the difference. So they don't have their head in it like you do. So yeah, EP. Sorry, I didn't even answer your question.
You're good. You're putting out good knowledge, man.
Okay, well, I'm glad. But yeah, EP on the way. Like I said, like this week, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, having a great writing week, and I'm gonna go into this weekend and record a couple drafts, and let's see if we can get it to the next round, to the next stage, if you will. But yeah, EP is the goal for sure. I need to give someone something concise.
You're gonna try to have the EP have all original, like brand new tracks on it?
Yeah,
Oh,
all
that's
original.
fun.
Like at this point, like, I mean, I feel like I'd be cheating if I'm like, here's a 5 songs, here's 3 songs I made 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's not
like,
the 90s anymore. You can't do that.
No, and like I can't do like a lead single that was popular a year ago. You know? So yeah, it'd be all original stuff, and like whether it's all dropped at once or it's a slow burn release to kind of like get the most traction, still up in the air. I have to finish the songs first, but there's a lot of good things in the works, and I'm definitely excited to release a project in the future.
Good deal, man. I honestly personally cannot wait to see it.
Oh, dude,
I'll be the first to purchase it off of whatever website, or if you even get like, are you thinking about doing just digital, or are you thinking about some physical copies, CD, maybe a vinyl 45 or something?
Yeah, I guess like I guess probably not right at first. I want to see what the popularity is before I just go all in on vinyls and stuff, because I haven't even looked into what that printing process is like. I imagine it's pretty expensive. So I just want to make sure that there's some kind of like, that there's a demand for it. So, but yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing. I know.
Nice.
And even more, just not even like to sell. I think those are cool, like giveaways. I think those are cool,
absolutely. Man,
like,
get your boy a dub plate. Please let me get a dub plate.
yeah, like people are into it. So, I mean, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens.
Oh yeah, that'd be super awesome. Let's see. So what do you wish you knew when you were first starting that you know now that maybe would have lightened some of the steps or made them faster for you, you know?
Yeah, I think the big one is that it's okay to ask for help. That it's just like that it's okay to reach out to people for advice. I think I kind of got into it earlier where when I was starting out, I had this this preconceived notion that I can't be reaching out to bigger artists because like, why would they care? You know what I mean? But then like now I'm in a role where I'm not like huge or anything, but like I have people reach out to me. They're like, hey, like I'm just getting into production. Like which software should I use? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm happy to give that advice because I was also there in your shoes, literally like messaging other people back then, trying to like pick their brain. And of course I had to overcome that fear, but that it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to reach out because you're not going to have all the answers. I definitely thought I had to be this like self-made DIY guy where like all the production's mine. I had to mix and master shit. Mm-hmm. You see people like, I don't know if you're familiar with Russ at all. He's like this rapper who came up from SoundCloud who like every single song he's ever made, he has to let you know that he produced, mixed, mastered, wrote, did the artwork, does the video. Like, cool, that's awesome. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do everything because there are people that are good at, there are people that went to school for cinematography. There are people that went to school to be an audio engineer. Like no amount of YouTube videos will get your level of knowledge to that level. And it'll take a long time. But if you want to like jumpstart and make it easier for yourself, send your songs out to be mastered by someone who knows what they're doing. I just told you like that's something I just started to do with my buddy. Yeah. But like had I done that before, like I was pumped when you said that the quality sounded pretty good earlier on some of those songs. Mm-hmm. That's something that was lacking was that actual ear to get them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my big thing. And also just to know that it takes time. Not to get frustrated. There were definitely times where like it's like I remember being stoked if a song got like 1,000 plays on SoundCloud. And I think it took me a year to get 1,000 on one song. And I was like, that's awesome. But like now, you know, I look at 1,000, I'm like, okay, whatever. But it takes time. Like all of these big artists were not big overnight. It is a slow burn. So just accept that, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm really enjoying your answers, man. Thank you. And with that said, let's go ahead and check out the second track you sent us, which is dubbed Lately. And this is one of my favorites out of the group of, I think, 5 that I said, because it has a good low tempo acid jazz to it.
Yeah.
You can listen to the lyrics and enjoy it. You can just listen to the beat and enjoy it. You can listen to it all encompassing and enjoy it. Or it's good background, you know, it can be something you're very driven to listen to, or it can just be in the background and just make you mellow. You know, I really enjoy this track. So let's check it out.
Cool.
You say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that the right thing, but I see you all the time. Picture, you say that the right thing, but I see you all the time.
Cause lately I've been losing all my patience. Lately every single girl I'm fucking with is fucking basic. Rather get wasted. That's why when you see me in the studio, I'm usually keeping bottles adjacent. Yeah, and loud packs on the table just to chase it. I'm dream chasing lifestyles of being rich and fucking famous. I got a couple friends that probably won't fucking play this. And lately got a couple friends stuck in between quotations. Yo, I'm Charlie Dickens with these expectations. Despite stressing over how I'm making my electric payments, I'm worried that my latest song will be my fucking greatest. And all my new fans will listen and then just fucking hate this. And lately I've been staring at the ceiling, looking up, wondering if I'll have a good job or be in basements. My biggest fear is not that I won't make it. Lately my biggest fear is that that one day I'll be complacent. Lately, been the best in the booth. When I get up on a mic, hypnotized with the truth. Everything I make is dope, it don't matter what I do. You can hear the chitter chatter and they saying I'm the dude. Only brought to laughter when I'm thinking about you. Brag about the paper like it's not even cool, yo. Never minded, but I'm thinking obtuse. Number one while you catching a deucing. Lately, been the best with a flow. I ain't never doing it for show. I've been only doing it for me, myself and I. Maybe just a little for the hoes. Lately, I've been sitting here working on a craft. Sitting in my room and I'm writing on a rap. Working on the beats and you know I got a stash. And I'm riding up the wave. I don't want it to crash. I don't want it to crash. Yeah.
All right, and that was the track Lately, sitting at a cool 1.2 million views because it's the best track in the freaking world. I honestly love that track. Like, I definitely would take a bubble bath to that.
All right. Yeah, sure. That works. Definitely that's why I wrote it. Bubble
there you
bath.
go. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other recent projects you've been working on? Like, who are some of the other artists that you're getting down with right now?
So some of the artists that I'm collaborating with, well, there's this, I can't like give the name yet because it's like an unofficial thing, but
All good.
there are a couple of like, I guess I'd say more electronic producers. They're two guys based in Seattle. Cool little project with them, or not a project, cool little track with them. And then I'm usually bouncing some beats or some ideas off of my buddy Mako is his name, and he's like a Boston-based artist.
Okay.
This dude, like, check him out if you want, if you're into like the really like poetic.
Yeah, his name is Mako?
Like his name is Mako, Maeko. His work ethic is incredible, and like he's one of the better writers like I've come across. Like genuinely just a fan, but I send him a lot of beats because like I said, he's so hungry. He'll hit me up and be like, yo, can I just get a pack? Can I get a pack? So kind of always informally working with him.
Nice.
But I'd say those are really the two. I mean, it's more or less like, again, it's all these like informal working things because and it goes back to me saying like just genuine, like I'm friends with these people. So it's like, it doesn't feel like work so much. It's just like, hey, I have this idea. Could you add something to it? Would you be down to get on this song? And it's cool that way. I think when it happens like organically, that's when you get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the past I've worked with this one girl named Lauren Sanderson, and it was like my first real like production placement, I guess you could say, where it was like this girl had like a really big she was like a social media, like she was an influencer before I think the term influencer was like really coined. And she had like a big following, and she started making music, and she hit me up because I think it might have been that she'd heard Lately, or she heard one of my other songs, and so I sent her some production. And one of the songs ended up like making it to her album and ended up on Spotify, ended up doing really well. And then she ended up getting, I think, signed by some label. I forget the name of the label. And but the song ended up getting pulled off Spotify because there was a sample that wasn't cleared. But yeah, that song's called Anyone by Lauren Sanderson, if anyone is interested in looking it up. But that one I was definitely proud of because it's not like hip hop. It was a little out of my element. And it was cool. So that was a cool experience though.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So what are some of the ways that other artists, fans, or anyone can connect with you and follow you and be a part of your daily, like what you're up to?
Yeah. So I post a lot of stuff on my Instagram, which is just __Blake. And then if you get to there's a link in my bio that has like a link to my Twitter, my SoundCloud, Spotify, like wherever you listen to music. It's just kind of this like landing page. But I post a lot of like stories on Instagram. I don't do a lot of posts. Why? I don't know. I need to work on it. It's like, it's funny. Like everything that I would recommend to a client at work or that I would tell anyone is like, be posting consistently. Like you need a good presence. I'm just like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm like going the complete other way. And it like works for me to some regard, but like I definitely need to be posting more, but I post a lot of stories, and it's a lot of like me making beats and kind of the process. I'll like sample movie scores and kind of like flip them into something else, cool little thing. But on Twitter, it's at B Cornelia, my last name, which is like, I think you can see it in this video, maybe. I'm not sure what the screen looks like. And yeah, those are really the two. And then Spotify does this fun little thing where it, like, can't tell the difference between two people that might have the same name. So there's another Blake out there in all caps, and
I did see that. Yeah.
And he's like a trap rapper from Houston. So like, if you come across him and you're a fan, great. But if you're looking for me, you might have to search Blake and then Lately.
There you go.
And then follow me on there and be tuned in whenever I drop a new song, or, you know, follow some of my playlists. Yeah, I'd say those are the best places to reach me.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to purchase or own a track or all of your tracks as of right now, best place to do that would be the Apple Music.
Yeah, Apple Music. I would say though, if you want the full discography, SoundCloud has songs that aren't on Spotify and iTunes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, because SoundCloud has like some of the just quicker like ideas where they're like songs where I'm like, you know, this has been sitting here for a while. I should just put this out because like it's doing me no good sitting in my iTunes library. So so those are just more or less, or they're like the songs that they're not my beat, and I'm not gonna try and like, I don't want to like make money off of it. So I just keep it clean, but it's just like music's out there and it's music. So listen to it if you want. But SoundCloud has everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. I got one more question for you. And that is, what absolutely inspires you every day when you wake up to keep your imaginative pool flowing and you fishing for those big fish? Like what makes you try to catch those big dreams?
Just that, like, tomorrow's a new day. Like today is a new day, you could say, but even still, like it just kind of what I was saying, where it takes patience. Like you can't wake up and say, I'm going to make a hit, because that's not how it works. If it was, that would be phenomenal. I wish it was like that, but it's not. So I just wake up and I have zero expectations. I just know that I'm going to try and make music, and whatever happens, happens. Sometimes it's a beat, sometimes it's lyrics, sometimes it's both, which is the ideal scenario, but it's almost never like that. But just knowing that, like, hey, if this beat sucks, or if I just really can't write, yeah, no pressure. I'll just do it again tomorrow. Like, no, like, it's just like every day is a blank canvas, and you can put on that whatever you want, but don't tell yourself that you're going to be Van Gogh tomorrow, because that's just not going to happen. So
right on.
Yeah.
That is super cool. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. I'm going to start atoning that to myself as well.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
All right, Blake, thank you one more time for coming and hanging out with us and sharing some of your music. Thank God it was two of my favorite tracks also, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And man, I hope you the best. You're blowing up. It's great. I love that every single one of your tracks is getting love. You can look at all the comments, and everyone in there is just really digging on what you're putting down, man.
Very blessed.
Wonderful.
Great,
so yeah, thank you very much. We'll be in contact.
Yeah, great.
And thanks to
it's awesome. Like, really.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Keep it up with the show. Like, a big fan of, like, again, like the mission, like what you guys are doing. So keep it up.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. And thank you to everyone else for tuning in today. I don't think we had any live questions, but if you guys have any more questions after you watch this, or if you hear the podcast later on, you can always hit us up at the emporiumlive.com/forum. Put your questions there. We'll get back to you on the webpage. And you can catch up any previous episodes there of Making It in the Music Industry on any of our streaming services. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Blake. Again, wonderful guest. And we will catch up with everybody on Monday at 7:00 with our next guest, who is Nick Palumbo, I believe his name is pronounced. I'm probably getting that wrong, but we'll fix it later. All right. Love you guys.